What's up guys? Welcome to AnimeKouhai. If you'd like to help me out, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel.
This was why Shion's ability was particularly dangerous to spiritual life forms. When combined with her immortality, the effect became even more formidable. True to the essence of her title, Shion ruled over the raging energy with unyielding control. She harnessed the chaotic power and infused it into herself, using it to stand her ground against Dagruel. With the ultimate skill, Susanoo, Shion delivered an impressive performance against Dagruel, who was essentially a colossal embodiment of energy. But this clash was nearing its conclusion. Dagruel was a battle-hardened warrior with experience from countless conflicts. Dagruel had never proclaimed himself a demon lord, nor was he someone who would indulge the whims of the newly awakened without consequence.
So, she's drawing on my power, is she?
Dagruel thought to himself.
In that case, the solution is simple. I'll end this with a force she can't possibly control. I'll give it my all. Don't hold a grudge even if it kills me.
Dagruel announced.
I'd expect nothing less.
Shion retorted. Dagruel unleashed his devastating localized destruction technique, a concentrated shockwave of maximized energy.
Maelstrom Buster.
His immense energy flared in a brilliant blue, forming a spiraling vortex that surged forward like a whirlpool. Riding its momentum, Dagruel's massive form closed in on Shion with incredible speed. It resembled a dropkick at first glance, but the concealed destructive energy was of a catastrophe-class magnitude. Even with her ultimate skill, Susanoo, the king of tyranny, Shion couldn't fully neutralize the attack. Dagruel aimed to end the fight decisively, wielding power that vastly exceeded hers. The disparity in strength was undeniable, an insurmountable gap in sheer level.
I'm sorry, but everything you've built up is meaningless against me.
Dagruel respected Shion. He acknowledged her strength, determination, and tenacity. But he also understood that in battle, admiration had no place, and brute force would always prevail. Shion had fought valiantly, but this was as far as she could go. Confronted with Dagruel's unleashed might, her defeat was inevitable. For Dagruel, it wasn't a matter of possibility but an unavoidable reality. Yet, Shion was oblivious to his thoughts. In the heat of battle, the enemy's mindset was irrelevant. As Dagruel bore down on her with the full force of his Maelstrom Buster, Shion faced him with an unshaken, fearless smile. Dagruel caught sight of her expression and felt a flicker of doubt.
Has she resigned herself to death? No, that's not it.
To Dagruel's surprise, Shion's demeanor wasn't one of surrender but of a fighter who still believed victory was within reach. Her expression radiated her determination to keep fighting, even in a moment where all seemed lost. But then, a blinding flash struck Dagruel's mind.
True chaotic fate.
Shion's fiery attack landed just moments later. Dagruel's eyes widened in disbelief. For the first time in ages, he felt an intense, searing pain in his head and forehead. It was a sensation he hadn't experienced in millennia, but that wasn't what shocked him the most. Dagruel felt the unmistakable impact of his Maelstrom Buster exploding with lethal intent, aimed at ending Shion and the respect he held for her. That outcome was predictable. What wasn't expected was Shion's response. She completely abandoned any effort to defend herself, channeling every ounce of energy into her attack.
This is absurd. Does she have a death wish?
Dagruel held a deep admiration for Shion. He even cared for her enough to hope she wouldn't die. Despite being opponents in this battle, he had imagined they might one day become allies when the war ended. Even if that future was impossible, he had no desire to kill her. Shion's strength had impressed him, and he believed that as long as she chose to run and refused to give up her life, he could let her live, provided she no longer interfered with him. But now it seemed Shion had thrown her life away in a futile gamble.
What?
Suddenly, Dagruel realized something was amiss. The throbbing pain in his head had distracted him, but another issue demanded his attention. Unbelievably, no, impossibly, Dagruel found himself on his knees, unable to rise.
What's going on?
He sifted through his memories. Shion hadn't made any attempt to defend herself. She must have understood that she couldn't fully withstand his attack, so she had chosen to retaliate instead. She had swung, Hercules Deluxe, upward in a desperate strike to counter Dagruel's downward assault. By all logic, her blade should never have reached him, it should have been deflected by the overwhelming power of the Maelstrom Buster. The gap in strength between them was immense, yet at the crucial moment, Shion's blade seemed to vanish into thin air. It was as though it had bypassed all physical constraints and struck Dagruel directly.
No way. Guaranteed outcome? Did Shion just use causality manipulation against me?
Dagruel's realization was spot on. Shion had managed to land her blade on Dagruel several times throughout the battle. While those strikes hadn't caused significant damage, they had undeniably made contact. For Shion, recreating that outcome was merely a matter of replicating the process. The ultimate skill, Susanoo, came with an array of extraordinary abilities: thought acceleration, universal perception, demon lord haki, guaranteed outcome, infinite regeneration, behavioral alteration, emptiness offsetting, illusion destruction, spacetime manipulation, multidimensional barrier. Each of these powers was immensely versatile and potent. Among them, guaranteed outcome and illusion destruction were the most dangerous. When combined, they were lethal enough to threaten even Rimuru, as Seal had once cautioned. By fully utilizing these abilities, Shion's true chaotic fate had dealt a devastating blow to Dagruel. However, this triumph came at a steep price. Shion herself had taken the full force of Dagruel's chaotic fate in return. Neither her ultraspeed regeneration, nor infinite regeneration, should have been enough to save her. It was a death sentence under normal circumstances. But Shion was not entirely alone.
Rebirth.
Rumina's ethereal voice rang out across the battlefield. With divine precision, her intervention saved Shion from being utterly destroyed by Dagruel's ferocious power. Using her ultimate skill, Lustful King Asmodeus, Rumina pulled Shion back from the brink of annihilation, preventing her soul from being shattered. Now, Shion stood tall and unyielding, while Dagruel knelt, defeated. The outcome of the battle was unmistakable.
Aha, thank you for saving my life, Rumina-sama.
Shion said with a smirk.
You fool, what would you have done if I couldn't save you?
Without Rumina's, Shion's reckless gambit would have cost her life. Her risky strategy had paid off, hinging on her unwavering faith that Rumina's would intervene in time.
Of course, I trusted that Rumina-sama would handle it,
Shion declared confidently. At this, Rumina's let out an exaggerated sigh, shaking her head in disbelief before offering a small smile.
Don't call me Sama. Just Rumina's will do. What? Are you unhappy about that?
No, not at all. Rumina's, from now on, you're my friend.
Shion said with a bright, sincere smile, openly expressing her goodwill.
Think whatever you like.
Rumina's replied, her cheeks flushing a deep red as if caught off guard. Flustered, she quickly turned away from Shion with an air of feigned indifference. Veldora, observing the events from the sidelines, noticed Rumina's talking with Shion. He couldn't help but suspect that this was a classic Tsunere moment, though he wisely refrained from saying anything. Instead, his focus shifted to joining the conversation and escaping his own isolation.
That was absolutely magnificent, Shion. Simply outstanding.
Veldora exclaimed with an enthusiastic laugh. He believed his entrance into the discussion was seamless. Unfortunately, he was mistaken.
The obnoxious lizard is still here.
Rumina's turned her icy gaze on him, the warmth she'd shown Shion replaced by a coldness so intense it could have extinguished flames. Veldora felt the core of his being nearly shatter under Rumina's frosty demeanor. For a moment, he considered retreating but chose instead to act unbothered.
Of course. I stayed to keep an eye on things because I was worried about you all.
Veldora declared, trying to maintain his composure.
Shion, you've exceeded all my expectations. Truly impressive. Well done.
He added, praising Shion in an attempt to dispel the chilling atmosphere.
Enough already.
Rumina's thought to herself. In truth, she wasn't as angry as she appeared. In fact, she was grateful for Veldora's assistance, but admitting it was another matter entirely. She feared that showing gratitude would only embolden him, and, to be honest, she struggled to be genuine with Veldora. Deciding to end the exchange, Rumina's redirected the focus.
It's too soon to relax.
Although they had defeated Dagruel, the war was far from over. It wasn't time to let their guard down. As if to confirm Rumina's concerns, the morale on the battlefield shifted. The Titans, shaken by the loss of their general, began to falter. Meanwhile, the opposing forces, buoyed by their victory, seized the upper hand. This shift in momentum proved catastrophic for the Titans. Glassword was visibly shaken, and his swordplay began to falter. This shift allowed Alberto to gain the upper hand and press the advantage. Meanwhile, Fen clicked his tongue in frustration, attempting to rush in and turn the tide, but Ultima wasn't about to let that happen. She was the type to exploit any weakness in her opponent, and she struck at just the right moment. Adelman, working seamlessly with Ultima, joined forces to relentlessly corner Fen. Victory seemed within reach when an ominous laugh echoed across the battlefield. Its source? None other than Dagruel, who Shion had just defeated.
Unbelievable. I never imagined I'd be forced to kneel on the ground. I underestimated you, Shion. My apologies.
As he spoke, Dagruel stood up effortlessly, as though the earlier battle had been a mere inconvenience. Shion could tell his acknowledgement was genuine. Though she hadn't dealt him any critical injuries, she had significantly depleted his energy. Even so, Dagruel's composure remained unshaken.
There's no need to apologize. I feel ashamed for thinking I had actually won.
Shion replied.
Don't sell yourself short. Since Veldanava, no one has made me bleed, until you. Be proud of that, Shion.
True to his words, blood still trickled from Dagruel's forehead, a reminder of Shion's devastating attack. Yet, the wound showed no signs of healing, a testament to the sheer potency of her power. Despite this, Dagruel's aura grew stronger, an unsettling force spreading across the battlefield, centered on him. Sensing the danger, both Shion and Ruminez prepared for whatever might come next. However, one individual seemed oddly thrilled by the development, Veldora.
This is the Dagruel I remember, the rival who once stood as my equal.
With that declaration, Veldora confidently strode toward Dagruel.
Shion, take a well-deserved rest.
And so, Veldora and Dagruel stood face to face.
In the end, it's me you'll be fighting, isn't it?
Yes, I am. If you were going to step in, we should have handled this ourselves from the start.
Dagruel's primary target was Ruminez, but with Veldora entering the fray, his priorities shifted. The significance of each opponent was vastly different. To Dagruel, dealing with Veldora felt like being forced to waste time on a trivial distraction.
A big thanks to the AnimeKouhai patrons who made this video possible. Jared Bressler, Speed Saber, Curtis Loban, Judah Herrera, Just a Guy, Miss L.W. Hernandez, Jason Martin, Zach Rosen, Jerry Sladek, Ray Perez, Jay, Donald Williams, Day of Light, John M, Godman Gaming, Markithian Tidwell, Adrian, Kumo, T. Bush, Kirisoto-sama, JV, Thomas, Joshua Cousins, Jose Hernandez, Khalid, Christian Deshazer, Divine C. Harris, Montyboy 98, Ruben, Yuki Iki, Gray, Isaac, Koala King 93, Quilly Buckner, Alver, Normal Defate, Joshua Andrade, Gary Miles, Dragon Spawn 666, J. Rule, Nate, Leiron Sangkap, Lucas Guet, Jason Martin, Sky T, Andre Hamilton, Martin Ramos, Emperor WSA, Miko Espinosa, George Hage, Gobi Lin, Pratik Bandari, Faiz Mansour, Jackson Early, Carl Stephen Bernadal, Gareth Hashimoto, Steven Madison, Marl Barsha, Ralph Ignacio, Efrain Hernandez, Luca Gaming WTF, William Locke, Kamal Luke, Akshay Devate, Elvin Quarty, Ian Sikibiol, Thanakorn Lee Sawat, KACP9R, The Harv, Drayden Yamauchi, Joshua Wolf. Thank you so much for helping out. I'll see you guys in the next video.